Blessings. It's your favorite farmer, Farmer Bean, tapping in. And I just want to share this experience that we had at Hood Honey's Farm. Be expecting a lot of collaborations this year. Tap in.
It with the honey, you know, so it's called a value added product, you know what I'm saying? But it brings so much value to my business because I can take this product and make it into this product and sell it for more, but then we can take that product and make it to more products, you know, and like my business is going to be very diverse in what we do, but it's really just tied to my friends because I can't do all of this on my own.
Come on.
So long story short, what I want to create in Mount Pleasant is this. So our mission statement is to create Black economic development in Mount Pleasant with an urban farm. So I'm going to make a bigger farm on all these empty lots, okay, and the city of Cleveland is going to let me, okay.
Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Pull-Up Experience.
Yes.
We have another good one for you as usual, episode 170 for those who are keeping track. And, you know, just to introduce, of course, familiar face, you know, not your average agent, OG, Brandon in the building. And of course, your girl Britt, I am here. And we have our special guest, Trey, aka Hood Honey, and he is going to tell us all about the agricultural world, and we're going to find out some sweet things today. So without further ado,
I like that sweet
things.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This is have been, we're not saying we ever do, but I'm glad we had you on, bro, because this is, I have a hit list, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hood Honey was definitely on it, you know what I'm saying? So my bingo is now being filled up now.
Cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I appreciate the wine.
Appreciate you, bro.
Pretty good.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Two You Wine. Hey, what you do it? Forget what you're doing. Get your Two You Wines. Best wine in the city. Black owned, woman owned wine. You can't beat it.
That's right.
Yes. So let's start from the beginning, my friend.
Okay.
Let's represent your hood. What part of Cleveland did you grow up in? What part what do you call home?
Okay, so
You've been all around.
No, I ain't really been all around, but it's like, so if you would ask me this question in 2020, I'd be like, you know, I grew up in Maple Heights. You know, went there first grade all the way up into 12th.
Okay, shout out to Maple Heights.
You know, and, you know, I would be at my grandmother's house. That's like my first memories and stuff, which is on 119th and Kinsman.
Okay, that's what's up.
But now it's like these last 4 years, going on 4 years now, I've been putting in so much work on Kinsman. I'm like, yeah, it's like the forefront of my mind now.
Okay.
You know, so it's like, yeah, you know, I'm from Kinsman.
That's what's up.
But now it's like, it means so much more now. But yeah, so Maple Heights, Kinsman.
That's what's up, bro. Okay. So growing up, let me ask you this. So I know I went to South High School. I'm not going to date myself. South High School, they had a horticulture program and whatnot. And I remember 9th grade, I'm like, I don't want to know about no farming. What's farming? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from the hood, right?
Right.
What was your start? What opened you up to just agriculture as a whole? Did it start in high school, or is it something that happened later on?
No, it's something that happened later on. So I always been interested in everything. Kind of understood how things worked in general. You know, I understood pollination. I understood things growing from a seed and, you know, I didn't understand the intricacies, but I knew the very, very basics of it.
Yeah.
But then I had this girlfriend who was like, we should start a garden. I'm like, I don't want to do that white people stuff. And then, you know, I ended up liking her. I was like, oh, maybe I should start.
Maybe I should start. Right. There you go. Smart man.
Right. But, you know, I didn't. It wasn't really a thing. But I started a baseball. Well, I didn't start a baseball league, but I took over a baseball league in Maple Heights.
That's what's up.
And 2012 is when I took over.
Mm-hmm.
And that same year, I had told my dad, like, you know, I think I want to start a garden. And my dad was like, all right, well, you know, let me help you, because he had been doing it for a while. And he got me a collard green, a bell pepper, and a cherry tomato. And the baseball season was horrible. Like, I was in over my head. I was trying to do so much stuff, you know. But that was like my first time trying to be an entrepreneur. But my garden did all right.
Okay.
You know, I was like, okay, like, you know, towards the end of the season, I'm like, wow, look at this, like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I remember my cherry tomatoes had, you know, I was busy, so they had, you know, just overgrown, and some of the tomatoes had fell down. And I was watching the ants and watching them just move methodically and stuff. And it was just interesting. I was like, wow, you know, this not that bad.
Yeah.
You know? And then I ended up just gardening a little bit more as time went on. And I actually ended up getting married. And marriage was kind of tough, but also I ended up getting a garden here in South Euclid at the Bexley Garden. And I had it for like 2 or 3 years, and it kind of helped me find some peace during a tough time of my life.
No, I gotta say that because, like, I will say this: when I got divorced, bro, this podcast was like your garden. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people don't understand that out of your grief or out of your disparity, you can find purpose in that. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I wanted to not hear that,
That's
hear what you
right.
said in that.
Definitely hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened, man. It was kind of like a passion I had built up because I wanted to feed my family. You know, I kind of was aware of, you know, different stuff going on in the world. This was in like 2016, 17. So getting out, I started in Broadview where we lived out there, and I was just growing different stuff, and I thought it was cool. And I used to work at Cleveland Clinic on daytime. You know, I don't work there no more. I don't plan on working there no more. So I used to be working there at night, you know, studying how to grow watermelons, how to grow this, how to grow that.
You said why is that word?
Yeah, you know, they be like, oh, Trey, we need this. I get it done, but once I get that done,
That's how I be.
you know, what am I learning? You
That's
know?
how I be.
So that's kind of how it all started with me. But yeah, that's where it started, my man.
So let me ask you this: those three, what was it? You said bell peppers, cherry tomato, or like the and collard greens are like the easier ones to do because I didn't know for myself because I do not have a green thumb.
Tomatoes, I would say tomatoes is probably the easiest thing to do. A little bit less, like here in Cleveland. Yeah. From my point of view, a little bit less pressure from pests. You know. Okay. Peppers would probably be the easiest thing because there's almost no pressure from pests.
Okay. All right. See, and like okay, so we gotta get into it because like we gotta speak to the person like myself who was naive or ignorant to garden because I don't have a green thumb. But I know in 2024 and beyond, like I feel like we as a people need to understand the fundamentals of growing our own food.
For sure, we should. We got to.
Yeah, because I remember you got up there where you said something that stuck with me. You said the soil we have here in Cleveland is more fertile than other places. Yeah. And I never thought about that. I'm thinking like we got regular dirt.
Yeah, it was not dirt, it's soil.
I'm sorry, soil. I'm sorry. Yeah,
there you go.
See that? Okay, I'm learning today.
Because dirt is nasty and it's whatever. We don't think about it, but soil is alive. Okay. You know, there's thousands of things alive in there besides just worms and little pill bugs. Yeah. Microbes, fungus. It's a whole system working there, and it's the foundation of life. So definitely got to put respect on soil's name. So, but yeah. So, I think what was the question?
When you're say I'm just starting on my garden, where like not fundamental. What are the basic things I can grow right now without having the knowledge per se?
Just to kind of take it easy.
Yeah, ease my way into that.
Okay, so what you want to do is maybe go to a community garden.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like the one I went here in South Euclid, or you could go and visit somebody like me, somebody that you see at a garden around your way. You know, just keep going up, popping up, or visit your city website, and they'll give you information on that stuff, right?
Okay.
So when you do that, you want to start off with something easy like peppers. You know, maybe you want to go to Home Depot, or if you know somebody with a garden, say, hey, could you get me some peppers, or you know, and you can you know, get those planted, you know. And I think collard greens would be good because you do want to experience pests. You know,
You do want to.
Okay.
yes, because just like love, and I teach this in my class to my students. It's back and forth, like Cameo said. You know,
Okay.
it's also in my class, but it's nature. Nature is balance, so you can't just get all the good. You got to get some of the bad.
Sorry, I said that one time.
Yeah.
That go beyond gardening.
It does. So I'm learning that in a lot of parts of my life
Yeah.
consistently. So.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so you want to get, you know, some of the usual suspects.
Okay.
Peppers, cucumbers, things like that. Start off small. And you're going to realize that you don't spend that much time at your garden doing stuff. You spend a lot of time watching, looking, testing the soil, paying attention to, did it rain today? You know, they kind of become like your kids, especially if you want to start them from seed. You start off a plant and just see it pop up after a week or so. You know, this small, but months later, by the time October gets here and that plant is done, you might have fed your family, you know, 5 pounds of food from this one little bitty seed.
Wow.
You know, if things go right, you know. But it's enjoyable just to make the mistakes and to learn about it and just spend time in your garden, because once you get to see it out there in the garden and it gets established and stuff like that, and it didn't rain or you didn't water it, what do you do but sit there and watch it and come back tomorrow and look at it again and maybe talk to it, or you know, and I sound kind of crazy talking to it, but
I'm gonna ask you about that. I'm gonna give us the secrets or whatnot. 'Cause I've heard of that.
So here's the thing, like, it sounds. Let me get some more of this. Real quick. It sounds like real, like, oh, out there and so you talking,
right.
hugging trees,
Hey.
right? But you gotta understand, just like I said about the soil, how everything works together.
Yeah.
We work together with these plants. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when we think back in time, we think back to 400 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't think to deeper times when we were really connected to the plants. And hugging your plants, talking to them, having drumming sessions or music or festivals around where you're growing stuff became important because you want to produce the most food that you can.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to always have food all year round. You're going to have a dearth at some point in time, no matter where you're at. You know, so
That's good.
the relationship, if you watch Avatar, is like that. Like, that's actually what it's like. Is that relationship with Earth. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the rules of the what is the 7 hermetic principles or 7 rules of the universe is everything has a vibration. You know, and then if you want to go into quantum physics type stuff, they'll let you know that every atom is always moving. It never stops moving. Everything is made of atoms.
Yeah.
So let's run that back then. So when you're talking to your trees or talking to your plants, you're giving off a vibration, like not just from sound, but also your aura, your electromagnetism and stuff like that. You know, and they do respond to you. And they, guess what? It comes back to you. Now, here's another fact. Mycelium, which is fungus, is what brings all this together in the soil underground.
Okay.
So, you know, you've got your little plant. What you want to grow?
I mean, cucumber sounds good.
Good, because you want to eat cucumber salads and make you some cucumber water. And what you want to grow?
Sunflower seeds. I could do this all day.
Oh, Lord.
No.
He's a wild boy. He's a wild boy. So you want to grow sunflowers back so you can do this with stuff. So y'all plant y'all seed in the soil, right? And it grows up. So let's talk about the plant and what a plant needs, right? It needs sunlight, right? Right? And what does it do with the sunlight? With some water, of course.
Absorbs it, right?
Right.
Right. And does what with it?
Grow.
It grows.
It makes sugar. It's called photosynthesis.
Wait. Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
Man, we learned today.
Well, he's taking us back. I remember photosynthesis.
It's fifth grade, but yes, it takes the energy from the sun with some water, and then it turns into a type of sugar. Now, don't ask me what kind of sugar,
Right.
but it's a type of sugar.
Yes.
Now, a plant needs more than that, just like us. We need more than sugar. We need proteins, carbohydrates, minerals, etc., etc., right? All right, so let's take it underground where the roots are at. You got stuff called fungus. All right, fungus is not a plant. It's not an animal. It's somewhere in between, right? So fungus also needs things. And what fungus does is it eats dead stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It gets its carbohydrates and things like that, but it needs sugar too.
Yeah.
You know, so here's where they tie together. The mycelium or the fungus connects into the roots and it trades the minerals that it gets from deeper down in the earth and some of the different things that it's gathered up, and it trades it with the plant for some of the sugar, and it creates this network where they're sharing things. You know what I'm saying?
It's community per se.
It's community per se.
That's what's up.
And it's like the whole system of the worms, the bugs eating each other and dying and leaving things for the fungus to eat, and then it's going back up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I teach my kids, I taught at ICA, which is on 131st Innovation Career Academy, I think. Shout out to Miss Tina Smith, great woman. But when I taught that class, and I was teaching, it's the cameo class. Well, not the cameo class. We were a little later on. We were talking about soil, but we were talking about how they're family, because I like to teach in relation to who we are as Black people, but just in people in general. You know what I'm saying? Because that makes it all tie in.
Yeah.
So to make all this tie in, just think about your family and the cycles you go through with your families, the ups, the downs, but how when you look back on things, they all tie together because you need the downs to get to the ups. And all vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So
it's poetic
that's how the
though, bro.
works.
It's poetic right there.
Well, that's just nature. I'm just describing it to
That was
you.
up. No.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about, because, you know, we have the summer, spring, winter, fall, right? Like kind of how life is, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we're born in summer. I'm sorry, springtime. Spring is our summertime, fall, and then we all pass away, which is our winter time, right?
Right.
And I just love how gardening if we, like you said, watch it, when you see it, and we see just how life cycles are for us and whatnot.
Yeah.
And how from that wintertime comes back to spring or whatnot.
Exactly. And that's my favorite part. I have an aunt who I'm going to see later on today. Hey, auntie. She moved up here from Florida. And when I was younger, I was like, why did you, like, you know, you didn't want to stay down in Florida? Why did you stay in Florida? She like, well, I like to see the seasons change. You know, because all she had was hot and hotter, you know, or rain and hot, one of the two.
No in between.
Yeah, so I didn't understand it quite, but it stuck with me. And then now I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of do like to have breaks and stuff, and to like take like time like now to just kind of reflect on the season, write out plans, you know, see where things went wrong or see where things went right, and then kind of have that rebirth and try again, you know. So
that's good right there.
you got some more wine?
You know, we gonna bust one open now after this interview.
Oh, okay.
You said that was good, huh?
That was good. Yeah,
that
it was pretty good.
Listen, we'll make sure you leave with a bottle today or whatnot, man. Appreciate you, man.
Cool.
So I wanted to transition to how you took that knowledge you have for gardening and then you created Hood Honey, and then getting the beekeeping, because that's two different iterations, if I'm not mistaken. How did it transition from gardening going to, all right, I want to get into beekeeping?
Right. So yeah, so that's perfect, because I kind of built up that knowledge throughout my life, and especially in the 20 teens leading into the pandemic and stuff. So the pandemic happens, you know, and I'm actually going through a divorce, and you know, I got a good friend, you know, one of my big bros, and I used to coach his son. Remember I said I coached a baseball game in Maple Heights? I coached for almost 10 years. And I used to coach his son, and he saw all the work I did there, you know, and he just was like, hey, man, I got an idea, and I need your help. You know, and at this time in my life, I was just kind of like, okay, I had kind of figured out, like, some of the things that went wrong in my life. And I'm like, okay, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to be the man and trying to, you know, do certain kind of things. And, you know, just reflecting, like, you know, maybe I don't have those talents, but I do have some other talents, and maybe I should just help my friends, you know, and that way I can find one of them who can have some talents, and I can help them as best I can, you know. So that was the goal. Was like, I'm just gonna help my friend, you know, because he has a huge heart, you know, and he's my silent partner. But shout out to Lufa, because he started Lufa, which is our nonprofit, sister company basically. So, and he's like, yeah, so you know. So what he does every year is, you know, we pick a few families in Christmas, and we just give them gifts. You know, like give them a tree or whatever. You know, we do stuff for back to school, all kind of stuff we do. You know, great man. That's my big bro. But he was like, yeah, I want to give people couches. And do we cuss on here?
Oh, you know what? We 15 minutes in. We can go ahead because YouTube only shuts you down after 15 minutes. So we available 15 minutes in. We good.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I ain't want.
Yeah, we're good now.
All right, cool. So he wanted to sell couches and stuff like that. So, and I'm not selling, but like give them away. And I'm like, oh man, you know, that's not gonna work, bro. We can't just give people stuff because they're not. Like, it just don't work that way, you know, and it's going to be unsustainable. You know, so we went back to the drawing board, and I'm like, okay, well, let's look at what talents we have. I'm like, you know, I got these talents, you got these talents. You know,
use what we got.
Use what we got. So I'm like, okay, we should start a garden. Because I knew about the Summer Sprout program that the city does with Ohio State University, and it allows you to take abandoned lots in Cleveland and sometimes in the county and do things on them for, you know, little or no money.
Wow.
So I'm like, that would give us a spot to, you know, do stuff with furniture or give things away, you know what I'm saying? To kind of give us a spot without having to buy a spot. I'm like, you know, we could start a garden.
That's dope.
And he was like, all right, cool. So I'm kind of, you know, going through the, you know, the thingy thing, and I'm like, cool, yeah, maybe we can call it Ghetto Gardeners. But I was like, you know, because I had started a YouTube called Ghetto Gardener, and I didn't show my face, but I would just, you know, do my gardening thing, you know, because I liked it. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm like, you know, we'd figure out a name. So I took it to him. He's like, yeah, garden is cool, and we can do that stuff. But then I was just like,
To one hand, like what you wanted it to.
no, because it's like, you know, we both from Kinsman. You know what I'm saying? So we going to be on Kinsman doing it. Because, like, it only makes sense for us to start where we both have roots at.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you know, how often do you get excited about lettuce?
Not too often.
You know what I'm saying?
I see Brittany doing it the other times. You see letters and you know what I'm saying?
Right. Nobody does that. So I'm like, So I had learned that sometimes you got to look at something, even though you've read it before. You got to go back and look again. You know, even though you've been over 100 times, go back and look again. You might find something.
Go back to drawing board.
Yeah. So like I went back to this paper and I saw honeybees, and I'm like, we could do honeybees because black people like barbecue and honey barbecue, even though they don't even use honey and honey barbecue, but. Yeah, I know. I was surprised too. Yeah, they use mustard or something. I don't know.
What?
Exactly. But at the time, I'm like, you know, we could go to B&M's or Mount Pleasant or something. I can sell them some honey, and then, you know, but I know black people like sweet stuff. Everybody likes sweet stuff.
That's a fact.
Honey is cool, and I heard it tasted good raw. You know, I had it raw a couple times. It was pretty good. So it was like, yeah. So I went to my boy, like, you know, what if we do honeybees? He was like. I'm like, what's wrong? You don't think we should do it? He like, I'm not fucking with no honeybees. I'm like, I do it. He like, you ever did it before? I'm like, no, man, but like, you know, I can do it. You know, there ain't no thing.
You was like, you was up for the challenge.
Yeah, I was up for the challenge. Okay. Like, you know, I see people, I've heard about people doing it. So like, you know, you don't die from a sting. I don't think I'm allergic.
You say I don't think I'm allergic.
Yeah,
I'm the way to find out.
Yeah. He was like, all right, man, you know, I just ain't messing with no bees, man. I'm like, all right. So, you know, kept doing research, and my mind just exploded in the fact that how much I could do with that and how we could attract attention to our mission, which was to create leaders of our future America.
Come on now.
You know,
bro, I never knew that's what that meant.
Yeah. So that's kind of was the spark of it, and you know, I just started getting really excited. And like I was telling you before, you know, right over here on Sheffield, living in an apartment, you know, all the ideas start coming to me. And I just put them down on paper. And I planned out everything up until 2024. And most of it kind of came true like it was supposed to. You know, and it worked out how I thought it would. With some surprises, but good surprises.
Good surprises, though. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And I love how you guys are like literally exposing our children to, you know what I'm saying, agriculture, real, because like I don't know too many places that are doing, or too many people who are doing it, and showing one the possibilities and what comes with that, because we know the typical things, you know.
Yeah, basketball, rapper,
exactly,
player.
exactly. Open our eyes up to, you know, you guys can grow your own food. You guys can cultivate things with your hands. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope, bro.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about Cleveland. It's like the opportunity is here because this is some of the best soil in the world. You know, I mean, Ohio produces a bunch of corn and soybeans for the world.
We're like the export for that.
Yeah, you know, and we live in Cleveland, like, which is a part of Ohio.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, for me in the beginning, it was just about, you know, just bringing attention to it and stuff like that. But what changed was, I didn't know people was excited to see me do it, because I had tried to do stuff in the community before and it failed and nobody really paid attention. Yeah. But I didn't know people was excited to see me doing it. And they're like, yeah, you know, it's because you're a black man doing like this beekeeping thing. Yeah. You know, and that was like pretty special during the like first year. Yeah. The first year or so of the company Hood Honey is because like that's what surprised me, was like that people cared, you know what I'm saying? Like people was like, oh, this is dope, like this is cool. You know, I'm like, wow, really? Like
we think the difference between when you were doing the garden versus the beekeeping that caught people's attention?
So I really think it's the visuals, you know.
To see you in the beekeeping suit.
Yeah, because like when I was writing this up, I was confident in my smarts and abilities to write up something good and creative and stuff. Like, I've always been confident, but I wasn't confident that people okay, like I put some bees in the hood, like I want to make it so people can see it and walk past it. You know what I'm saying? So it's the sight of somebody beekeeping, which is going to get people's like eye, because you're. And then it was COVID too, so I'm in a suit, and it looked like, you know, I forgot PPE suits, right? I don't even know what we call them no more. But like, you know, it worked. Because what happened was, like just going through the story, we were like, all right, we're going to do this. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, we're going to do it at my grandma's house. My grandma house was there. That's my first memories. Family has so many parties there. My grandma's a very, very, very special person. Just especially the role she played in her family, being one of her younger siblings. So she had to take care of her parents and her siblings as they got older and passed away. You know what I'm saying? But that house was essential for especially her nieces and nephews, which were her age or a little older, and her siblings to come through and talk and party and all kinds of things, you know. And it was really important to me, you know. So it's not there anymore. So for me, it was like, we should put it here because this spot has a lot of history for me personally. And it was also an art gallery on this land too, which also got torn down. The Black House Art Gallery. Shout out to Aletha, good friend of mine. But with that being said, like, it was like, yeah, we're going to put it there. But I knew, like, okay, I wouldn't be able to get it to 2022. So 2021, I was like, I would try to find somebody to let me do it or not, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I just build it up. But riding around in fall of 2020, I met a friend named Mrs. Harris.
Okay.
And she was on 129th and Benham at PhD Gardens, watering the garden, you know, middle of COVID. So I just kind of got out and, you know, which is really close to my grandmother's house, which is on 119 McKenzie. So it's like, you know, kind of walking distance. So I kind of got out and was like, hey, like, you know, nice garden. Can I come in and look? She was like, no, like, where's your mask? Blah, blah, blah. You know, but we talked and I just was like, well, look, like, I'm thinking about bringing some honeybees here in 2022, but, you know, maybe I can put them here in 2021 if you would like. And she was like, honeybees? She was like, okay, well, take my number. And, you know, I just called her every couple weeks, couple months, like, you know, you still want to do that? She's like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, all right. And I bought some bees offline, got all the equipment, studied, took some classes, and put them on 129th and Benham. But getting back around to what we were saying, standing on that corner, right? People drive by that corner all the time. Y'all familiar with that corner?
I am, yeah.
She's
Okay.
Duchess of Kinsman, so you know what I'm saying. So
Oh, I was messaging you. I didn't even know who you were. Duchess of Kinsman. You gotta come to the farm. For sure, yes. Okay, so behind the old Charles Dickens. And people blow that stop sign all the time. You know. And shout out to my boy Clutch.
Oh yeah, come on, shout
That's
out.
my boy.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast. Come
That's
on the
what he
podcast,
said. Come to the podcast,
Come on,
Clutch.
man.
But we went to school together in Maple.
That's what's
you know
up.
what I'm saying? And then he grew up on Kingsman too, one street from my grandmother's.
That's what's up.
And he went to Charles Dickens. So, you know, I just wanted to shout him out
No,
there.
that's what's up.
But when I got there and started putting on this bee suit and having all these bees surrounding me, people would stop. They would respect me more than they respect the stop sign.
Wow.
And they would say, hey man, what is you doing? I'm like, I'm beekeeping, man.
Right.
They like, what the fuck? Pulling out their camera like, man, look at this shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just totally shocked. Like, I can't believe people care.
Yeah.
You know, and it was really cool. It would be like 3, 4, 5 cars just stop for 10, 15 minutes, just looking at
The culture shock. They're like, no one's seen this in the hood. Like,
that totally surprised me because I just didn't really think, because like I said, like I grew up in Maple. I would be at my grandma's house on the weekend, be in the hood on the weekend or whatever. But like my mindset was a little different, you know. And plus I'm just weird anyway, so I didn't really get it. You know, I'm like, people like, man, you beekeeping? I'm like, well, you know, this shit's been around for a long time. Like, why are you shocked? Like, it's honey in the store.
Right.
But now I get it, because it's like, we just ain't never seen it.
I've never seen it before. It's like seeing a spacesuit out there, you know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
It's like the
Pretty
same
much.
ordeal. But I just love, I feel like, I say this all the time on the podcast, I feel like we're in a renaissance of just opening our mind to what's possible and beyond, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty, my bad. No, I was thinking, it's like from beekeeping to, who's some people we had on the podcast, I couldn't believe they were doing these things in 2024. Who we have on here? Like from art, I mean just any aspect of genre or industry, we are not only we dominating, but we are taking it to levels that have been unseen. Man.
It's been a while. Yeah. And I was gonna actually mention that. Just different people I work with. Because this was a surprise to me. Like, you know, just not thinking people were going to care. And then also just feeling alone trying to do community work. You know, and then, you know, here comes 2022. And I meet all of my friends that I know today. You know, I had a friend named Celeste and Jennifer. They hit me up and they came to my farm like, hey, you know, this is cool. You're doing the beekeeping stuff. Do you want to come to Columbus and, you know, do some political things and lobby and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't really like politicians and I don't really like none of this stuff for real. But then she was like, we getting Airbnb and we got food and stuff. And I was like, well, you know.
Well, we already here, you know.
I'm like, well, bump it, man. Like, free food, you know, a bunch of black people, a bunch of beautiful black women. I'm like, well, why not?
Right.
And it's like, wow, I met all these people. And they doing some amazing stuff in the farming world for politics.
That's dope.
It's pretty dope, you know. Like Mickey over at Little Africa, Mickey, Tila, Angela, Jamil over at Little African
Oh, yeah,
Village.
shout out to Jamil. She coming on the podcast. Hey, shout out to her.
Podcast, you know. Then meeting people down in Ridall, you know, like Tim Lewis. That's my boy.
Shout out to Tim coming on the podcast too. Yes.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And linking up with the UAI.
That's what's up.
With Aharon, Big Keyma. That's my boy. Another dude you have on the podcast.
Listen, I'm gonna reach him out to Mike Riser after this and whatnot.
Yeah. Now what he did was amazing because it was, to me, his thing was amazing because it was like when I walked into ghetto therapy for the first time. You know, when I heard about ghetto therapy, a friend was like, yeah, come. And she like, it's called ghetto therapy. I'm like, ghetto therapy? That sounds ghetto.
Shout out to Walt, man.
But then when I got there, within the first couple of minutes, I'm like, this is the most amazing shit I've ever seen in my life.
It really is, man.
Yeah, it was like, I was just taken aback, like, wow, this is great. And I had that same feeling when I walked into Aharon's spot. He's the person who built the pod.
Come on now, yeah. Oh, we got to speak on them. That's dope.
Man, you know, and when he built it, like, we were cool, but we wasn't like cool as we were now. And when I walked in there, I was like, oh my God, like, it's not just because it's a pot, it's just like what he's trying to do with it, the herbs, and then it just was a feeling in there, was just like, it was amazing. And like, I just started to understand, and we built up this friendship where it's like, man, like, you know, it's pretty crazy to when you actually get to know somebody in the depth that they have. And it just made me feel like I'm just not alone out here in these streets.
That's good, bro. That's awesome right there. And I'm about to say, because I was going to ask you, like, when you say that as you expose what all you wanted to do, like we said, the community grew, because like you said, people start reaching out to you.
Yeah.
And I say this for the podcast, our alumni is crazy. And like you said, it's people, how can I say this? I'm an introvert, right? And being an introvert, you don't expose yourself that openly up to the people and whatnot. But the podcast helped me do that. And when I reach out, like, you want to reach out to you, Ronnie, man, like reach out to you. I met you at Ghetto Therapy, but I heard you go through. I'm like, man, I gotta get him on a podcast. And then once again, no, sitting down with you, bro, it has been a real honor to have you on. By the way, man,
Appreciate it, man. It's an honor.
No, absolutely, man. So my question to you is: would you say that your talents, your gifts, open you up to community, or not community, or to other great people doing great things?
Yeah. So one of the gifts I have is socially, and I get that from my mom and my grandmother.
That's what's up.
You know, so shout out to them. See y'all later. But I just watched them growing up maneuver socially. You know, my grandma used to work at Dillard's, but it was Higbee's back in the day when it was downtown at the Jackson Casino, where Jackson Casino's at now. So just watching her be there and then move to different Dillard's, watching my mom just be downtown working with Medical Mutual, and just what they did socially, just talking to people, you know, really was pretty cool to me. And it's like I looked up to them for that. So my talents and skills, like, coming up for this is like perfect because you know, I can talk to anybody, you know what I'm saying, like, and just a natural thing, like, most people like me, which is not as great as you would think it would be all the time, you know, but at the same time, it is something I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying. It's not like a bragging point, it's just consistent in my life, you know. So just the talents and skills was cool, but the best talent is just wanting to learn, you know what I'm saying, like being open to taking in new information.
That's dope,
you know, like trying to grow into that, you know, like even with tough things, you know, like love is always tough for me, you know, but just trying to grow and be open to learning about it, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, do we even have a choice? It seems like, you know, but, you know, like some of those talents, just being open to learn and having the social gifts is really been helpful.
No, that's
time,
good,
man.
bro. That's good, because like I said, being around Walt, man, every time we're around Walt, he's around dope people and they're doing dope things. And it's like, I don't say, how you say, it's gravitational pull type of word deal, but it's just like vibrations, like you said. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you're doing amazing, talented things, other talented people in there, and they're not in the same field, in a whole different field, just like, man, I got to talk to this man right here. I got to talk to this young lady right over here.
Right.
And it's just something like, I'm seeing it firsthand. I'm like, I'll be sitting there, I'll just be, I'm just chilling in the corner and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, hey, man, you're doing something. I know you're doing something. No, mine not seen the podcast one day in their life, but then I know you're doing something great. I'm like, huh? What you know? How you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what it be, man, because it's like, and we know these things as black people. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, because we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We say it like, oh, yeah, she was a whole vibe, man. But it's like vibration.
Yep.
We get these things.
That's
like, we don't
facts.
really even have to. Yeah, that science, that thought is actually in our head. So that when people are coming to you, it's like, your vibe, that frequency, which is a vibration, is matching theirs. And it's like attractive. You know what I'm saying? You it's like, I just had to say something, bro.
Right,
like, the shit you're doing, man, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a cool thing, especially when you can understand it on different levels. You know what I'm saying? Like from the scientific, from the social. Like, I just think the shit, like, everybody just be like, crystals and, whole type this and that and, all as on riding the wave. But I actually think it's pretty cool when you just, like, can match up the science of different peoples at different times to just the stuff we say colloquially. Or however you say that word.
No, I think you got it. The wine is hitting. That's what
the wine is hitting, man. That's what I say. Give us some more. But yeah.
No, that's what's up, bro. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So was you being great at what you do, but then you're teaching the youth of tomorrow, man. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because it's one thing to be great at something, but it's another one to teach the next generation. What would you say helped prepare you to do that? Like, I know you talk about, social how you are, but like teaching people, I feel like is a skill set in itself.
It is. So my mom is probably one of the greatest teachers in the world.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to my mom. Because I watched her teach my sister how to spell her name. My sister's name is Gabrielle. Shout out to my sister. And my mom just clapped it out and sung it like, oh, baby, let me show you how to do this. It was like GABRIELME. And to me, it was like, you just came up with that? That's pretty cool. So then growing up, getting into African mythology, African sciences, older African stuff, it was like, I learned like, oh, so when they over there dancing and stuff and having a festival, that's not just a festival. That's actually math class. That's science class too. That's what's going on there. I'm like, that's just like what my mom did. And that really inspired me. Like, oh, wow, like this is already in me. Like, this is literally in me. I just needed a little guidance. Somebody to show me the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, even all those masks and stuff, those masks tell stories. And those stories are like 3-4 levels deep. Talking about the stars, but also talking about relationships between men and women, between men and men, between women and women, or groups of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like one of the most amazing things to me, to be like, wow, like, we do this stuff just naturally. We just gotta pay attention to it. So
it's deeper than just that.
It's very deep. So getting into it though, teaching was like something I started doing with coaching because I really liked sports and I felt like I should do that. Like, I felt like a calling to like coach, and I actually was pretty good at it, but I didn't really consider it teaching. I didn't really understand like this teaching aspect probably until I really started doing Hood Honey. I started having field trips, started trying to think about ways to monetize it. And then especially this last year when I started getting comfortable with the field trips, and I created like this rated art class for adults, where I was able to teach adults about bees in a provocative manner, which is pretty cool.
You got to detail about that.
I'll elaborate a little bit, but you guys, you got to go on Eventbrite or call me. Come in to drop in Sundays. We'll start dropping Sundays in June. First Sunday in June. Come up on Sundays at 1 p.m. and we'll go all the way through October. So I'll tell a little bit.
Okay, listen. Give us a preview.
So, again, I like to teach in relation to who we are. So shout out to Dr. Amos Wilson, who taught me that, a teacher who taught about, a lot of black shit. But anyway, So let's talk about something that we already know, right? Okay, I think everybody in this room knows these people, okay, because we're related to them and we see them all the time. You know what I'm saying? So do we know somebody who just continues to have too many kids?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. Let's say it's a her. It has to be a her. This her had just too many baby daddies, too many kids, and you don't know when she's stopping. You know what I'm saying? And then over time, her kids turn out all right, and you don't know how she did it. You know, that's kind of what the queen bee is.
Wow.
A freaky woman from the projects who like multiple niggas.
Okay.
So that's the preview of the class.
Okay.
I can't give you no more than that.
Okay.
That's fine. That's
So listen,
fair.
we're gonna have in the show notes. Y'all
Yeah, put that in the show
Yeah, we'll
notes.
put it in the show notes. Y'all can get the Eventbrite. Y'all can sign up for that. 'Cause I'm definitely signing up for that.
Yeah, or just pull up.
Pull up.
It's Sundays.
Brings
It's
up the
really a good class.
curiosity
It's a
of it.
2-hour
Yeah.
class, and we talk about the worker bees, the queen bee, and the boy bees, the male bees, which are called drones. We talk about black people, and we do have fun, but then we also drop the science with it too on like what it is actually happening. Like, why do she like all these dudes, and what's the benefit of that?
Yeah.
And what does that mean for us when we see that
That's
happen
how it
for
all
us?
ends.
Yeah, like what
That's
does that
nuts.
mean? So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope right there.
Yeah, so please come, y'all enjoy it, especially you.
Yeah, listen, we definitely gonna be there. We gonna pull up with part 2, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Okay, let me ask you this and then on top of you, an advocate though, bro, because once again, I think you run for office. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it right here on the podcast. I'm putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Because when I see it get up there, I'm like, this brother, he could be a politician or whatnot.
I could be.
You definitely can. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't want to put you on.
Oh no, I do know. I'm gonna just let this be known. I'm not running for office.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So
I'm not
no, I'm not walking for. So y'all politicians don't got to be scared. I'm just gonna stay over here and do what I do over here, because see, politics is a bunch of BS. But y'all good at what y'all do. Y'all can maneuver through the BS. I'm not even gonna just keep talking about it because it's things that got to be done.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot myself in the foot.
Nah, you good. We don't get you canceled today, brother.
Yeah, but I'm not running for office for no damn body. So
Yeah, I
we
feel
can
it.
keep that right there. But I will be up and around.
So, and I love that you're an advocate though. Like people can differ between being an advocate and being a politician. They think it's one and the same when it's not. Because you can advocate for something, for change for something. You don't have to be a politician in order to get it done.
100%, yeah. And I argue with my family about this all the time. I don't vote, okay? Because I just don't vote, okay? And if you vote, if it's good for you, keep doing it, okay? But a brother like me, I'm just not wasting my time pulling up to a poll station, a bunch of people that I got to research all of a sudden, because I do got life going on, okay? I don't know these people. I never met them. It's hard to get in contact with them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Senator Rob Portman, because I emailed you. Yes, I emailed you a minute ago, and you still have not gotten back to me. This was like in 2020. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate it. Anyway, okay. I feel like I'm doing more for my people, for my thoughts, doing this as an entrepreneur, as a business person, because I can use my skills, like I like to solve problems, and find workarounds because, that's another law of the universe, duality. There is no right answer or wrong answer for the most part, right? Unless you're talking about math. And there's always a workaround. You know what I'm saying? You can build a fence, but then I can just drop in with a parachute. And you can cover it up, but I can come in on the ground. And you can build that, but I can just blow that bitch up. So there's no way to beat it. So there's always a workaround, and I love using that kind of skill. So.
Yeah, no, I like that because when you're stuck, when you're in politics, there's only one way to go about it. It's that way and that way only. No, I like that.
Way. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good right there.
So yeah.
No.
But, yeah.
Okay, so listen, you said you like I'm gonna put it out there. It's not going down.
It's not gonna happen.
I got you.
I ain't I didn't mess with this.
No, you good. You good. You good. No. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the future, bro. Because talk about the past, talk about the present, talk about the future. What does the future hold for you and everything attached to you in the
That's a
future?
great question. So, the future for me or Hood Honey?
Both.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk about Hood Honey first. That's
Okay.
easier.
All
The
right.
future for Hood Honey is tied to my friends and my business partners. You know, because my business can stand on its own. My business
Nothing you can say that though, man.
yeah, not too many people can say that, but my business literally can stand on its own. It's 100% sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do use some plastic, but I don't gotta use plastic. Everything's biodegradable.
Come
all
on
the
now.
wood, everything I use.
That's a flex right there, bro.
It's a big time flex. I'm definitely gonna flex on that. That my business can stand on its own. Shout out to the bees.
Type of so.
But it's tied to my friends. Like, one person I didn't mention was Ja. Very, very good friend of mine. Very good friend of mine. And she's, I believe, the best chef in Cleveland.
Come on.
And we combined on this honey. We put my honey and her expertise in cooking and culinary arts. So we got some herbs. Some of the herbs we grew. Shout out to Haron because he grew some of the herbs. Some of the herbs I grew. Some of them we had to buy. But we put them in here and we infused it with the honey. You know, so it's called a value added product. You know what I'm saying? But it brings so much value to my business because I can take this product and make it into this product and sell it for more. But then we can take that product and make it to more products, you know, and like my business is going to be very diverse in what we do, but it's really just tied to my friends because I can't do all of this on my own.
Come on.
So, long story short, what I want to create in Mount Pleasant is this. So, our mission statement is to create Black economic development in Mount Pleasant with an urban farm. So, I'm going to make a bigger farm on all these empty lots, okay, and the city of Cleveland is going to let me, okay, because we're working together, because we got the same goals, okay, and shout out to Deborah Gray, all right, and her secretary Ramona, that's my homegirl.
That's what's up.
But we're going to make that area into a farm in between all those empty lots because 50% of who we are, who you are, all of us is our environment.
Come on.
So if we change the environment, then the other 50% is on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, it's a good business opportunity. You know, and I want to be able to bring a lot of great things to Mount Pleasant to help with the food apartheid. You know what I'm saying? To help with economic development, people with jobs.
That's good.
Black people have the highest teenage unemployment, which is a big problem. You know, and I got stuff that teens can do. They can be a beekeeper in the next 6 months, messing around with honey. The next step of that, though, is for the bees to take us around the country and around the world. You know, I want to put these apiaries, which apiary is a bee farm, but put these apiaries in different places in different cities and help them, if they want, help them bring what we're bringing to Mount Pleasant, which is an agricultural paradise.
I'm about to say, that's gonna be my next question. Like, how? Because you know, there's hoods all around Cleveland. Mount Pleasant is one, but let's say I want to put one over on 4 miles or whatnot. What would be the first step I would need to do in order to get that going?
To get what going?
To get a, I'm sorry,
Agriculture? Agricultural paradise?
What's the beekeep?
Apiary.
Apiary. I'm sorry.
Oh, to get an apiary
Yeah.
started? First, you want to, hit a nigga like me up so I can teach you how to be a beekeeper. I can sell you some bees too because I sell bees. I can teach you how to make products because I can make products. Here's my chapstick. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, that's
It's not used. The box size is a little dirty. Just wipe that off.
You
They
get
got
it, bro.
honey on there, you know what I'm saying?
Fine, we can respect it. Thank you.
But I can show you how to make these different products so that you can have a sustainable business if you want.
That's what's up.
Or if you want to just have something for your garden, whatever you want to do with bees, I can teach you with
That's
that.
what's up.
So once I teach you and show you where to buy your stuff, I can also continue to be a mentor for you. So you can just call me and say, hey, I need help with this. I need help with that. And if it's not me, it can be one of the people who are helping me. You know, shout out to James, the hippie gardener. My top student right now.
And I love that once again. I'm a big advocate for mentorship because you don't know what you don't know until you do it, right?
Yeah.
And what better way to miss a lot of hurdles and obstacles you probably can avoid if you have a mentor in hand.
Yeah, and let's reverse that. When you have an apprentice, you can avoid obstacles. You know, 'cause you help each other.
Time out.
Okay.
170 episodes. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
100%. So we'll turn it around. So this is gonna be a great episode. So
It really is.
shout out to Alex, Raising Vibes on Instagram. I used to coach Alex in baseball in his baseball league. You know, we have an incredible story, but long story short, we were losing this game, and we were down like 9 runs, but we won it.
That's what's up.
Partially because of all of us, but partially because of Alex. So 10 years later, loop back around, I see Alex on Instagram growing stuff. I'm like, you want to help me with the farm? He was like, yeah, man, sure. And he's been rocking with me ever since. And when I can't be there, he's there.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm teaching him some things, you know what I'm saying? But he's also helping me avoid the hurdles of doing it by myself and helping me create, you know, sustainability, because I'm teaching people who are going to help me in my business. Yeah. And then I want to push him out to have his own business.
That's dope, bro.
Which he started, which is called polyculture. And I'm going to replace Alex with another apprentice, you know? And that's how it's going to work.
That's
so I can
so
build
dope.
my business. And same with the beekeepers, with James. It's like I'm taught him to be a beekeeper.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach him how to teach some of my classes. But it's like I'm creating jobs to keep my company going. Because who's going to teach these people to be beekeepers? Does that mean?
Right. But I love is once again, it's part of the system, because what you teaching them, they're helping you, and you're showing them to do the very thing you're doing. It is a cycle, but it's what they call that, symbiotic.
Symbiotic.
Yes. So
it's like the soil.
Yep. Come on now. Come on. Symbiotic episode. I don't know. We got a couple episodes now.
A bunch of names.
A bunch of names now. But I think that's dope though. Because nothing bothers me. One of my pet peeves is a person wants to hoard the knowledge, right? You know what I'm saying? For themselves, and thinking that if I hoard the knowledge, you might not know how to do it, so I can hold on to it. And that's not how other cultures do it. Unfortunately, more than not, it's us who do that. In hopes that if I have it, you can't get in on it or whatnot.
100%.
Versus the other way around, like you said, the more people who know about it, the more it helps you out. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope right there, bro.
Yeah, it helps the community, it helps me, it helps them. You know, like I think that's just how it should be, and that's why I'm actually a pretty angry person, because I'm really upset at the world, and I just see how things are just messed up, and it really pissed me off.
Tired of carrying that load? Drop the house. Gutter Properties will buy your house as is with offers up to $300,000. Need serious repairs, liens, taxes, or judgments? We'll work through your unique situation to get that house off your back. During your free, no-obligation appraisal, we maintain social distancing and take every precaution to ensure your experience is safe. Drop the house. Gutter Properties. Call us or visit gutterproperties.com.
Doing stuff like this where it's like we can all help each other, because it's like if you're working for me, I should be actually wanting you to go off and create a better company than I'm making, or equal, you know, or great, be successful, because that makes me look good.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it makes you look good, like, oh yeah, I came from Hood Honey. He taught me how to do X, Y, and Z. And he does that, but I do this. Like I sell cough drops made with this. You know what I'm saying? And it makes us all look good.
That's right.
Oh, that's dope. So let me ask you this: what do you feel like the biggest misconception people have about agriculture, horticulture, and beekeeping? What do you think like the biggest misconception they have?
Yeah, that niggas is chilling.
Episode.
Yeah, it's kind of like construction workers. You know what I'm saying? Every time you see the construction worker, they talking, eating lunch, hamming it up. We don't never really see them laying concrete. Like rarely do you see them doing that stuff, but the road get done. You know, so if you come to my farm, you might see me doing something, but you might see me chilling. You know,
Nature's doing the majority of the work, right?
Yeah, but I'm still working. Like I'm building stuff. I'm working on all kind of stuff. Just because you see us chilling, you know what I'm saying. But then it's also like it's really hard work. Like it takes a lot of spiritual and practical knowledge to be a good, like, not just gardening, okay, because gardening is just gardening, right? But to be a farmer, okay, because we trapping, right? We are like I heard this from I forgot his name, but he was in a Central State program, Dr. Sid, and he was like, yeah, you're a farmer once you sell something. I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Break the bud. I've been hitting it all day.
But once you sell something, man, you was a farmer. So it's like, so like being a farmer is different than being a gardener. Being a farmer, I'm not just making this honey and like, oh, if I get honey, I get it, or
Mhm.
cool, I got this honey, I'm put these 50 jars
have
up,
expectation.
and blah. It's like, nah, I gotta sell this, I gotta market it.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go here, I gotta go there,
It's a
and then I gotta
business.
make it make sense. I gotta scale, I gotta think about how I'm gonna do it, who's gonna be there when I'm sick, all kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
get
You
them
know
days
what I'm
off.
saying? Yeah, so it's like if I'm sitting there chilling, that's because I was just working my ass off. You know, and it's like every day. Like you can ask my mom, I'm never at home. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always moving around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifices, all that kind of stuff. So
That's good stuff right there, bro. Yeah, because I never thought about that. Because, like, yeah. Because I know people who garden, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they have it for themselves. But on the farm, I didn't even think about that. Like, that's the more business side of it all.
yeah, like this is farming. Me talking to y'all,
Yeah.
getting this content, letting people know what's going on in the hood, honey, letting people know what's happening on Kinsman, up and down Kinsman, just with the beautiful, beautiful people doing stuff. Because I only mentioned Aharon and Ridall. We didn't mention, you know, Miss Anita, who's up on 140 something, who I just found was my cousin. She's on 130 something.
That's what's up.
But she's doing great
So
stuff too.
So it's in the blood, huh?
It's in the can. It's on Kinsman. It's in the can. It's in the blood. All that.
That's
So
what's
yeah,
up.
you know, we work hard. Like that's the misconception about what we doing.
Yeah.
Like some people, like it's just when you see us, you know,
Yeah.
we might be chilling or doing this or doing that, but you know, we working all year round. It's hard work.
That's good stuff right there, bro.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. So, we get into our simple questions, right?
Okay.
And well, before we get to that, because I want to mention, because I think not enough entrepreneurs understand the support system. You have mentioned of people who helped you